Hello, everyone. So, we have been listening to podcasters and podcasting as well. And today we are fortunate. Why we are fortunate, why we are privileged, why we feel that we have been supported. We are moving beyond academics and we have got the support from a podcaster today. And the support or the one who's here to motivate us is a doctor by profession, by occupation. She's an ENT surgeon. And why she's here is the reason is she is a podcaster. She's a popular podcaster. She has got many podcasts which are loved, liked, appreciated all over the world. She has a fantastic website which is Health Wealth Bridge, and we'll be sharing those links with you. I'm introducing Dr. Amrita Basu. She is a surgeon and she is the podcaster and a blogger on Health Wealth Bridge. Now, this show, which comes on every Thursday, which is uploaded over various platforms, she writes on health, education, and she's also providing us podcasts on wellness, why we should not medicate ourselves or not. She's also talking about e-learning, education, writing. She does podcasts on financial freedom and for Indian moms. She's doing these things like how they can be empowered. Now, Dr. Amrita Basu is a professional podcaster, a professional doctor as well, and she's into an interest in which she's going to help us out in knowing how podcasting is going to take us ahead in teaching as well as in self enhancement. So, without any delay, we would request Dr. Amrita to take this charge and take us ahead to the world of podcasting. And we won't be asking any questions in between, but we would like to know. The first question from my side would be, because other questions will be coming from our learners, how you came to podcasting and why you have been doing it. Like, what is the trigger or the motivation point for you? After that, it is all yours, ma'am. We welcome you and we highly appreciate your support as a mentor to our course. Thank you. Please.
Thank you so much, Praveen, for such a lovely introduction. I am not a professional podcaster, but definitely a professional ENT surgeon. I have been podcasting since 2018, but blogging since 2014. I started podcasting because I felt this was a platform which could reach even more people than just my blogs could. Because the main reason I started creating content was I could reach more people with my educational content, that is awareness, the things we speak about every day, what we want people to learn about from doctors. And I felt there was a disconnect between what we as doctors wanted our patients to know and what the media says, what the politics says, what everybody else is saying. Because at the end of the day, as doctors, we want to serve people. So that was the main motivation to start blogging and podcasting at the same time. So when I started podcasting, the main inspiration was I don't know whether you have heard of him. It's Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income. He has been a massive influence behind my podcasting journey because it was his podcast which made me aware that as educated people everywhere, anywhere in India, whatever profession you have, in fact, anywhere in the world, we could lend our voice to a cause, to our own profession, to ways of making more from whatever we have, wherever we have. So I thought, why not do more of this? Like when I started writing, many people don't read blogs, but people previously watched television a lot. Even now, they read maybe newspapers and magazines, but reading blogs, that was not something very many people were comfortable with back then when I was blogging. But when I started podcasting, I realized many people like listening even though they won't read. So the podcast started as another opportunity for my website audience to get help from my content because I want them to be helped. Now, if they can't read, if it is too long, if it is like it's not loading properly, maybe they could listen on another platform, even if it's free. It's a way of reaching out to an audience, and that's the main reason I started podcasting. And the Indian podcasting community in 2018, there was no community as such. I didn't have a lot of, what shall I say, I didn't know anybody in the Indian podcasting community. So it was all the Google podcast platform and other, other podcasters who already established, who helped me learn the the nitty-gritties of podcasting. And now I have also joined another platform called the Kuku FM, which has a lot of educational content in regional languages of India, and it has several opportunities for Indian podcast creators like us, who have educational content, who want to share educational content. Since it supports Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, as well as English podcasts, it is a very good opportunity for podcasters, teachers to share not only their podcasts, their audiobooks, their own content on a platform. But the best way to do it is always on your own website. That's the first and the best way to do it, because that way you totally control what kind of quality you want to give, how many people can reach that, whether it's behind a paywall, whether people need to subscribe or not, whether you want to monetize or you want to keep it free. It's all in your hand. You don't want somebody to come someday and totally, take it all away from you. You don't want it on a social media platform which can suddenly block you, ban you, take it all away. You don't want a social media platform where they are promoting and they are letting your podcast stay, but suddenly they want you to pay for it. So all those things you have to keep in mind when you put your podcast on a platform. So yes, free apps like Anchor and Kuku FM are great, but you should also at the same time have your content on your website. There are two ways of doing that. You can embed the links from the podcast host like Anchor, or you can use a app like a plugin like Jetpack, which allows you to upload audios on your website. So you can do that totally independently without outside help. Definitely it involves a little bit of money, but that's the hosting part, so that helps. The regional language podcast is Kuku FM. It's available on the Google podcast, the Google Play store. You can find it. It's Kuku FM, KUKU FM. And there's another app which is purely Hindi podcasting medium, that is Khabri. Both these platforms actually also help you earn a little bit of money through their contests and their collaborations. And that's an interesting way of starting off on your podcasting journey, to see what is working with your audience. Because at the end of the day, whatever content you put out, it should be helpful, it should be entertaining, and it should be yours. All these three are very important, because okay, somebody who is singing very well, who has a very nice poem to recite, they can all be very entertaining, but you won't be entertaining yourself throughout the day. You won't be going and watching the same song every day. But a podcaster who is sharing content which is helping you with some aspect of your life, that is going to help a lot. So that's the main reason I started podcasting, to help a lot. So if you have a similar interest, since you are all our teachers, so as educationists, we always want to help. So if that's the goal, I think podcasting can help a lot, because it takes away the problem of video content where you have to have a good lighting and a good background and you have to all get dressed up, and it has a lot of work needed behind the video thing. But podcasting, you need a simpler setup. Definitely, as and when you make more money and you get more confident, you can have more sophisticated, more expensive setup, but it's easier to start than say a very good quality video. So you can start where you are, right now. In fact, today, the simplest setup I started with was, initially I also had a part of my podcast on SoundCloud, but SoundCloud has a limit to the amount of audio you can upload and keep. So I shifted to Anchor, which is a totally free app, and it has been taken over by Spotify, which is like the giant out there. The good thing about Anchor is they will provide you with an RSS feed, and they will let you automatically distribute your RSS feed to almost 10 platforms. And that RSS feed you can also submit to other platforms to basically enhance your reach to as many people as you want. If you want the world to listen to you, then yes, go for Anchor and the free RSS feed. If you want a more targeted Indian audience, then Kuku FM or a Khabri app can help you. But their RSS feed is not yet available easily. Like it's in the pipeline, but it's not yet available. Once it's available, you can use a regional language podcast feed from something like Kuku FM or Anchor, and Khabri, and then use it for other platforms too. But you can always have all this stuff also on your blog, on your website, as a standalone content. But in that case, the RSS feed you have to generate yourself. If you don't want to go that route, then you can have just the audio content on your website with a description, with the time stamping, like this is where I'm talking about this particular thing, this is where I talk about this issue. So that helps people to scroll forward and listen to that part if they are busy. The best thing about a website having audio content is you have your audience staying on the website for a longer time. When you give your audience an opportunity to listen to you, they form a real authentic connection, because you can copy a little bit of stuff from here or there and make it into a wonderfully detailed 10,000 word post. But when you're speaking, you have to know your material. Otherwise, it kind of shows through. So, podcasting, video, all this is more challenging that way, because you really have to know your material. You have to sound right. You have to connect to the audience, and you have to like the platform. That's also very important, because if you're feeling like, it's not for you, try it for some time. Give it a try for at least 3 months. Then if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But you give it some time, because it's not easy at all. But and don't think it's going to be perfection. It's not perfection from the very go. And if you are into perfectionism, then it's going to be really difficult, because there's a long way to go with all these content platforms. So you can start with whatever you have, a simple, this phone kind of thing, your phones. You can start podcasting and record your audio and see how you sound. You can use the apps that I mentioned. Unka jo studio hai, the studios are quite sophisticated. That is, they kind of enhance your audio. They block the surround sound and they make it sound better. And you can use that audio for podcasting on their platforms. But when you download them, some of these apps don't allow you to download an mp3 version of it. So check that out. And sometimes I use an app on the phone itself. It's called hiq. It's a free app which helps you record your audios. I generally write a script, and only then I start rehearsing, and then I record in small bits, and then I merge the audio and edit, because small bits audio is easier to edit than a very large bit. And my topical content is always about something I have been helped by. So whenever you make content, it has to be helpful. That is the only way things go forward. Because I have no formal education in this content creation thing, and whatever I've done from 2014 till this time has been because I was totally willing to learn and read and experiment and try, and not be afraid of not being an A triple plus. You can be a B minus and still do a very good job, and you can just get started. So podcasting is the next level thing, which is like very popular all over the world. In India, it's just coming of age, and more platforms are coming. And if you are on a platform like, say, Anchor or Spotify, it is very big, and Indian podcasters might be lost because we are very new in this field. But on a smaller app, like as I mentioned, the few, they have like around, say, 15,000 podcasters, which is a smaller number, and around 65,000 podcasts, which is a smaller number than the, say, larger number on the Spotify. So you need a smaller playing field right now, and your audience is the Indian subcontinent, and it's very, very good. And you can get started with the right kind of content. And if you have authority on it, then definitely go for it, because you can have courses, you can have audiobooks, you can have a lot of things with podcasting. So yes, this platform is going to help educationists if they want to do the next level. I think I have
Thank you.
shared.
Thank you, Dr. Amrita. It is a good advice you have given. I like when you said that you always prefer to have a script and then recording in small bits. So here I would like to, seek your advice that because, in our group, most of our participants, they are from the academia, and they means most of them, they are aware of lesson planning for their teaching. So in that case, what is your advice that when they are, making a script, what should go into the script, means how they can prepare it, which will help them in keeping their content and focused on creating a good podcast? Kindly, please.
Okay. I'll just tell you one thing. I have been a medical college teacher from 2007 till 2018. Actually, I was a teacher before I left, and I am doing private practice now currently. So I know the thing about teachers having a tough time making students listen. And whenever I had to plan my class, the only thing I remembered is like it was difficult when you're teaching 20-22-year-old people things about the topic. It feels very scary, and it's even more scary when you're teaching teachers like I'm doing now. So it's not easy. So definitely you have to have a script. The main part of the script is it should have a little part of the introduction which kind of summarizes why you are talking about that particular topic and why it is important for your student to listen to that topic. So in the first few seconds or few minutes of the introduction, you should be able to explain what you're going to talk about in that particular podcast or in that particular lecture or on that course module. So that will help retain the audience interest. And then you must have the main points of your class as bullets, like we write down. You explain the bullet first in a short 1-2 sentence, and then you go deeper into it. And if you have options of asking questions in your in your lesson plan, like if you want to ask your student questions, so definitely tell them at the end of this paragraph I'll ask you a question, and you can find the question in the description box below. And if you can answer all the 3 questions that I asked throughout this podcast, then you're going to get this and this. So that way engagement throughout the class will be easier. Also in the description box, as I mentioned, the time stamping of the topic, like say you're going to talk about the pros of photosynthesis, and you write that you're going to find it at 1.30 minutes. And then when you're going to talk about, say, something else, that also you timestamp it. So if somebody has kind of gone through the entire podcast and now wants to go and find the question answer part, they can find that part. So that way it makes it more helpful, more interactive. And before you start recording, you have to talk to someone. If you have never podcasted, if you have never recorded audio content, but you have taken live classes, talk to your partner, talk to your child. The easiest way to know whether your content is understandable is talk to your child. I have an 8-year-old, and you won't believe it, but I generally make her listen to my podcast script before I go and record. And if she understands, I ask her, now, what did you understand from this? Like, you just tell me 2 lines. And if she can understand, that means I made sense and I could hold her attention. So that is very important, that as teachers, we have to hold attention and it has to make sense. So the simple, the better, because when we use bigger words in an audio format, it somehow doesn't work, even in classes and in the online world. So that is my tip for creating content. Like when you write the script, write it how you would speak it and not how you would make an answer. So you have to write it how you speak it and break it down.
So, like you have answered many of the questions which we would have possibly asked, I would say. Means almost every second sentence has given me an answer to the query, which is a possible query from the learners also. But still, I wish to know one thing. Like if I'm a podcaster who's a mature one or who has just started into podcasting, I might be taking live lectures or something. I am conscious also. What would fail me? Means, and that the word can be something else also, but where exactly the danger zone is there for the people who are going to enter into podcasting? Like we should be alert about it, a caution or a precaution, like something which should be in on a priority thing when we are going to do the strength, opportunity, weakness, or that SWOT analysis of our plans. So what will be your 1-2 factor advice to us that we should be very alert about this particular segment when we are going to enter this domain of podcasting as teachers?
Don't agree to give up your copyright over your audio content. Have your own website, or at least don't sign on the dotted line if somebody says, I am going to own all your content. If any platform says, like, we are going to own all the content that you're putting up as a course or an ebook, just see whether there is a loophole there, because you don't want to give up all your content. If it's an experiment, that's
Yeah.
okay. But if you're creating a course or an audiobook or it's something like you want to monetize later, then it's better you talk to the platforms. They generally agree. If it is a good content, they will agree that you don't need to be exclusive. Don't sign exclusive rights if they are not paying you like $50 million or something. Like, you don't want to sign away your exclusive rights, because 10 years later, people will be seeking your voice to, create more content. So you don't want to give out your copyright. So don't sign anywhere where anybody says we want all your content for free. That's not a good idea. And keep all your audio files properly, so that you can, once you want to have your own website or something, you can upload it. So you should have your content with you.
Okay, ma'am. So one more thing, should we be very conscious about the voice quality? Like, I may not be having the bass like Amitabh Bachchan, or might not be having the texture of voice which sounds like anchors, professional podcasters. So should we hunting for an animated voice texture, or we should go with the natural one that we have?
I think the energy level is definitely important. You should sound interested in whatever topic you're talking about, but you don't have to copy anybody, because that shines through. Like, we have to have confidence in the language we are speaking. If you're confident in Hindi, you do a Hindi podcast. Even if you're not confident in Hindi, you can do a Hindi podcast. If you're confident about the topic and you have a script written down, then you can do it, because Hindi is not my natural language. And I can, I can follow a script and speak in Hindi, but I have to kind of, revise a few times. Bengali is my mother tongue. I'm more confident, but even then I want a script. On an English platform, I can speak without too much of a scripting. But when you are podcasting, it's more about your voice sounding pleasant and authentic and connecting to the reader, rather than an Amitabh Bachchan voice. That's not a general consensus, because then none of us would be podcasting. We don't have that kind of voice. But once we start speaking, it gets better. Like, if you are speaking professionally, obviously you know how to speak. Like, as teachers, all the people on the platform like this know how to speak. There is just no way they don't know how to speak. As podcasters, the next thing is you're just reaching a larger audience. You have to see the voice quality is very, very important, in the sense it should not be shrieky and it should not be echoing. There should not be hollow sound in the voice. Right now, my voice might be echoing a little bit because I'm in a room where there's a lot of cupboards. Like, try recording in a room where there are a lot of furnishings, like a deeper sofa or a bed and big furnishings, so that the echo is less. When you absorb the echo, when the voice is clear, there's less background noise, people listen more. Those are the things we should, focus more on, rather than something which we really can't have much of a control. But some vocal hygiene tips I would mention is, like, when you're recording, try to do it at a time of a day when you don't have a lot of speaking engagement, because our vocal fatigue is real. Our voice gets tired. We have the freshest voice around 1 hour after we get up. Okay, so when we get up, our voice sometimes can be a little, throaty. So if you want a clearer voice, go for a little bit of steam inhalation. That clears up the voice. Don't do that kind of is very bad for your voice. It makes your vocal cord become very rough. And don't have too much of sweet or spicy food if you're going to record, because that will give you reflux, and that is bad for your voice again. No shouting, no excessive telephone, and all the things that can make your voice tired can make a podcast sound really bad. So those things you have to be very careful about. If you have sinusitis or you have allergic problems, you have to take care of that. That's where the steam inhalation is going to be very helpful. If you're a professional speaker, like a teacher who has speaking engagement throughout the day, then you can really record your podcast in the morning, because at the end of the day, you don't want to speak to anyone. And if you don't have time in the morning, then after you come back from your engagement, give yourself 1 hour. Just sit and do something other than speaking. Don't speak on the phone. Let your voice rest and then you speak. Because that is very, very important.
Our participants are also putting questions. I would request Dr. Sharma to help us in sharing these questions.
Yes, thank you, Praveen. Dr.
Sir,
Amrita ji. Okay, Dr. Madhusudan, please go ahead.
sorry, sir. No, I just wanted speaker to repeat towards the end what exactly she said, if she don't mind.
About, sir?
About the voice, how you said the resting of the voice and steaming. Please, if you don't mind, in 1 or 2 minutes, if you can repeat.
Yeah. like when we get up in the morning, sometimes you might have a little bit of a cough at the back of your throat. Sometimes people have sinusitis or allergic tendencies, or they have a cold. So what you can do is you can take a little bit of water, boil it, put a towel over your head, and take a little bit of steam inhalation, like from the nose and the mouth. When you take steam, a gentle steam, not too hot, and take it gently for around 5 to 10 minutes. That helps reduce the edema in your vocal cord when you have cold or cough or you have spoken too much. That helps in maintaining the vocal cord health. And while speaking also, you have to be careful that you don't raise your voice too much. If you have to raise your voice professionally, then maybe you should consider taking a microphone in your classes and not shout, because as a podcaster your voice is going to be the most important tool. Like you can have the most sophisticated setup and recording thing and editing, but if you don't take up your voice like this, then it's going to be a problem. And no smoking, no alcohol, no all other pan bidi gutka jo bhi hai to hota hai, because all addictions can spoil your vocal cord, laryngeal cancer, throat cancer, everything. I'm promoting all these things, I'm very sorry to say, but you can't do smoking and the other stuff and have a good voice quality, because it's going to dry your vocal cord. It's going to be a massive problem. If you have spicy food the night before recording a podcast, that can cause reflux and can also cause your vocal cord to dry up and sound, not very fresh. So all these things, what you eat, how you whether you smoke or not, all this is going to take an effect. Also, another thing, when you are trying to record in a fresh voice, if you don't have time first thing in the morning, record after you come home, at least taking 1 hour rest. That way your voice gets that fresh feeling. And you can do a little bit of meditation, drink more water for better hydration, and try practicing saying Om. I heard this during another podcast by Mr. Pratik Sharma of Motor Mouth podcast. I think he was also saying about this, chanting Om from the stomach. It kind of helps free up your lung power, and it helps you say the words clearer. It makes your voice sound more authentic and clearer. So do this self-care for your voice every day if you're going to use it to create podcasts, because when we record, all this kind of can jar. Because if you are sounding pleasant, people will listen to you if it's content which is helpful. But if the audio quality is not up to the mark, there's a problem. People then leave the platform. That's going to be a problem. I hope this helps.
Thank you, Dr. Amrita ji. Dr. Priya Soni Khare wants to know, have I copyright on my podcast?
Yeah, like whatever audio content you make, whatever creative content you make is actually copyrighted from the moment you make it according to privacy laws. Now, the moment you give it away on different platforms, they make you sign, like you agree on their platform to let them share it on the different platforms to which they are linked. So even then, you retain that copyright. So in the eventuality, you want to pull your content from all those platforms. If you have not signed away your copyright, then it will stay with you at the moment you create it and you launch it. So your copyright for your audio content is as valuable from the time you make it to the time you sell it or you don't. It's always yours.
Okay, thank you so much. There is another question. Dr. Arunjay has posted it. Should we create an audio file and save it first on our website and then on podcasting app, or the other way around?
No, first, the best way is actually, say you have a website and it is self-hosted. You own the domain and you have your proper hosting and everything. So after you have uploaded it to a platform like Jetpack, they allow you to host your audio files on your website itself. Then what happens is, when you write a short introduction or maybe a bigger blog post, Google starts ranking that particular content with the audio snippet as well. So if somebody has written a similar post but doesn't have an audio snippet, your blog post could actually rank higher than the other person, even if that is equally good or even better. So with an audio snippet on your blog, you're giving it a higher ranking, and it is always better to put it on your blog first and then on the other platform, because that way your like the content was first here, the copyright thing is easier to ensure, because in India the copyright laws are not very clear, and it's a long battle. So if you want to retain copyright and retain the ownership of your content, first put it on your blog, and then you share it freely wherever you want to. That way it helps.
That's good. Now, one more thing. Sanjita ji is asking, can I make a podcast of my published work?
Yeah,
Here
you
is,
can. Yeah,
but
that's
it is,
actually a very good idea.
Jay,
That's
because,
like
no,
published work
sorry, sorry.
meaning scientific work.
Yes, that was the angle I wanted to raise, that if it is published, which is the copyright hold of the publishing house, in that case, how can we go about it?
Okay. If you have not signed away your audio rights, then and your translation wala rights, then you should be able to do, because if you have a publisher, then you can talk to a lawyer and check into your publishing agreement. You should never ever give away your audiobook rights or your translational rights, because that is like huge. Like if you have written a content in English and then you want to publish it in different Indian languages, that's like so many languages and so many audio content. You can be making boatloads of money if it's a very popular topic that you have written about. So ideally, your publishing contract should not have had that clause of you signing away your audiobook rights. Even Amazon Kindle platform doesn't do that. I have several books on the KDP platform, and they don't make you sign away your translation rights and your audio rights. So audio rights I still retain, and I am actually trying to make audiobook chapters of my book, and if you are available on the website, I'm working on it. And ideally, you should not be signing that away. If you have signed that away, talk to a lawyer. Maybe they can look into the contract agreements, because if they are paying you just for the publishing of the book in a print format or an ebook format, then the audiobook rights should be with you.
Thank you, Dr. Amrita ji. So, thank you, Dr. Amrita ji. It has been wonderful listening to you, and means we are so happy to have you with us in this session, and we look forward for our continued interactions.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
Dr. Chandra.
ji,
Thank you.
namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And we are really glad to have you. And we are also joined by your fellow podcaster. We would say that we got to know both of you through Atul Baharaj, and
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
he tagged you, and then we approached you. In fact, you dropped a message to me and then said that Atul wants us to connect. And then we are really glad that both of you didn't even spend a second on delaying this thing. And we hope
Thanks for
that we'll
asking.
yeah, we are privileged, and we believe that our participants, even through the recording of the session which will be shared in the course, will be a beneficial thing for them as a point of reference. And we look forward to your podcasts, your sharings, and we wish that some podcast mentions all of us in the upcoming episode, and then we also get to hear about ourselves. So we are really thankful, and we believe that it's just a beginning of our association of learning with you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jay. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste.